is Tuesday morning, which means it's time for the Big Brother Power Rankings. Jury has officially started, and I gotta say, this cast is still stupid as hell, and it really affects the power rankings very much this week, I feel, as we go over from what happened last week to where the positions are now. And there's so many things I can't believe has happened, but let's just get into it. Let's talk about Big Brother 26 and power rank the jurors this season. So, the worst player in the jury is Quinn. He is now on the block, basically getting backdoored because Angela stirred some, ideas in Chelsea and Mackenzie's head, and he's dead in the water. Angela, Tikor, Rabina are going to vote him out, and Chelsea is not going to break a tie in Quinn's favor. Quinn is cut out. He's gone. From the last time we talked, he nominated Joseph, one of his final two allies, and Joseph ended up going out in a 4-3 vote against Chemo. So Quinn is just basically, once again, proven he's an absolute moron when it comes to Big Brother. Probably a very good person at heart, but just look at what he's done for this game. He told Angela week one about the secret. He told Chemo week one about the secret power. Week two, he antagonizes and throws Angela under the bus. Like, dude, she has your secret. He outs his 5-person core alliance to Tikor and Chemo without really, confirming with them and working on them as much as he needs to. He gets the secret HOH after his power has basically been outed and everybody's kind of turned a little bit on him, and he nominates his number one ally, Cedric, to get Tucker out. Tucker wins veto, uses it on himself. He puts Rabina up to piss off Tikor and Chemo, and they end up keeping Rabina against Cedric, and there goes Quinn's number one ally. Tucker wins the wall. He doesn't take any of the deals. He continuously antagonized Tucker, when I think Tucker gave him plenty of opportunities to calm down, but Quinn is like, Mr. I gotta shout for the show and make the show, which is fine. Tucker was kind of the same way, but basically it meant, he was targeted during Tucker's HOH, but he was kind of saved because Brooklyn and Chelsea were bigger, clearer targets. Too bad Tikor and Rabina and nobody else realized this back then, so he's saved. The next week, Tikor, he flips, gets Tucker out. Oh, Quinn has some momentum. He wins HOH. Awesome. Doesn't solidify anything. His number two goes home. Jury starts, and now Chelsea's backdooring him. He's out. He's probably one of the worst players to ever make the jury. 2 HOHs that ended with his number one allies leaving. And he's getting backdoored, and the person whose vote he needs to go his way if he wants to flip and stay is Angela, and all he has done is burn that bridge from day one. Even when he knew she had knowledge of his power, he still burned that bridge like a stupid idiot. So Quinn, welcome to being the first person on jury. Be happy you made jury. You are a terrible player. You are number 9 here on this week's ranking. You can do your crying face, but you have no one to blame but yourself, you dumb idiot. Number 8, falling a lot, because I think she's lost a lot of allies and she hasn't played this week good at all, is Leah. I don't know who Leah is going to be able to beat besides Angela, and I don't see a way for her to get her and Angela to the final 2. She's playing this blind side of Quinn very, very bad. She should be happy that she's safe, and this should potentially make her a little bit safe moving forward, but instead she's sulking and making herself into a bigger target as time goes on. She has been offered to be in multiple alliances, and people maybe want to bring her in together, and she keeps saying no, and now she's crying, why does nobody prioritize me? Well, when you don't join alliances and when you don't show trust with people, they're not going to prioritize you over people who agree to be in an alliance and talks games with multiple people in a group setting. You set yourself up to fail here, Leah. I gotta give her props for being off the block, but she has not played this week well and has only made herself a clear house target in these next few weeks. And I don't see a way she can win this game again unless she's against Angela. But besides that, her game has fallen. She didn't do a good job securing the votes to make sure Joseph stays. If anything, Joseph, and Quinn hung out way too much last week and became an obvious trio, and that's kind of what helped flip MJ and Chelsea to keep Chemo, and now she's just in a really bad spot, and she's not playing very well besides being a pouty little stuck-up woman. Again, Leah's probably a great person outside the game, but in the game, she's an idiot. But so is everybody else. Number 7. Okay, so this is an interesting point. I am going to put Chemo up here at number 7. I think he's played this week pretty bad. He isn't really fighting whenever it comes to logic on why he should have been. Why was Angela taken out the block and not him? He was a Mackenzie and holding the veto away from maybe him going home against Angela, but he very clearly is going to be the first person in the trio that is knocked off. Now, I do think if he makes it to the end, there's a good chance Chemo can win, but unless he starts winning competitions and unless he starts building better social bonds and uses them correctly, like with Angela, maybe with Leah, he's going to be the first one out in the trio. And I don't see him having a winning chance. He's so passive, he's so quiet, he kind of just lets the game flow, and in some ways that may help him, but in a lot of ways it means once they decide that it's his turn to go, he's just going to go without much of a fight. Number 6, again, I don't know if she has a real chance at winning, but I got to give her praise this week, is Angela. Being able to get herself off this block and to get Quinn, her top target, up is a really good move. I don't think anybody's going to be picturing taking out Angela any of these next few weeks, and she seems to be getting praise even from people like MJ and Chelsea with how she handled herself in the veto ceremony and others. Now MJ is on the train of, I have Angela, she'll do what I say. We all know that's not going to happen. Angela's going to do whatever Angela wants. But getting the veto used on her 3 times, she's firmly in the middle here. She's definitely going to be voting Quinn out and going to be the person securing Quinn's leaving this week. Overall, just a really solid week for Angela. And again, I don't know who she can win against. Maybe she can win against Leah if Leah continues to pout like she does throughout the rest of the season. But there's a chance that maybe she does get to the end with against a Cam or somebody, and it's a jury that is bitter at Cam and they give Angela the win. Who knows? But that's why she's number 6 above Chemo, because I think she was actively playing herself off the block and it worked. So you got to reward somebody in the power rankings for that. I don't think she has that much more of a chance at winning than Chemo. I know Chemo, if he's in the final 2 against a non-trio member, can win, but I don't see that happening. It's just like I don't see Angela getting to the final 2 and winning. Number 5 is Cam. Cam is probably the smartest game player here, but the issue with this house is I don't think anybody is going to reward him for strategy in the jury. This jury is going to be all about emotional social votes, and he just doesn't have his hand in the right way. Maybe he can win against MJ, but I just think MJ has swayed the trio too much that the trio and Chelsea would likely vote, and even Angela and Leah would vote MJ over Cam. His ideal final 2 partner is either Leah or Angela, and it's going to be very tough for him to be able to drag those 2 to the end while also not upsetting and getting out his trio and the trio of Chemo, T-Core, and Rubina. Again, I think he's the smartest player in this house gameplay-wise. It doesn't say too much. But the issue is the social game was lacking so much that he doesn't have any win credibility against the people who he can theoretically get to the end with. So that's why Cam's number 5. I liked him. Shout out to the homies in the crib. Love that Twitter handle coming out today. Great to see the people who love Cam in real life are out there supporting and watching the show. And it just brings the community all together. Shout out to Cam. I like you. I wish you maybe a little bit better social game. I wish the cast was a little bit, less oriented on, who they like and their own personal missions rather than just who played the best game or who thinks the best way. Number 4, this is going to surprise people, is Chelsea. She's stupid. I think she proved once again why she's not a good Big Brother player this week. And we see it with the exit interview. We see it with her reads. She votes Joseph out. And we know from Exit Press, and I think you just know in general, Joseph was one of the people who saying Chelsea is the best player in this game. Joseph is a jury vote for Chelsea, is an advocate for Chelsea, is not going to be basing his vote off socialness, which is what Chelsea really needs. Instead, she keeps a trio intact, a trio who, I swear, even if it's chemo, any trio member versus Chelsea, the 2 trio members vote for the trio member, and especially after this week, Angela and Leah will vote for the trio member as well, maybe even Quinn. And guess what? Chelsea, you just lost the game. And she's very loyal to this trio. She doesn't want to upset them at all. And you see that in her HOH with Nam and Chemo and Angela being like, okay, I don't want to make any big moves or sweat people. I just want to make it safe and get blood off my hands. Use the veto, put Quinn up. Now there's talk about maybe trying to save Quinn, but she has to know, like, even if Cam, Leah, and MJ vote to keep Quinn, and Angela voyeurs off and keeps Chemo, she's keeping Chemo on that split vote, because if she doesn't, she's going to burn the jury votes of Chemo, T-Core, and Rubina and be way against them overall. She just does not see the game outside too much. She's a very big threat. Her way of winning is getting dragged to the end by Cam or Mackenzie, or going on a comp run herself. She's going to lose at the end against T-Core. She's definitely going to lose at the end versus Rubina. And those are 2 people I think she could make it far in the game with. And she just doesn't realize that socially, she's outmatched in this game. She has not played a good social game with the people who are on the jury. If Brooklyn and Cedric were here, that'd be different. But she's talked really bad about Leah, and even her blaming Leah to Quinn. There's 2 potential social people she might just not get votes for in the jury. Obviously, Angela has been a lot closer to the trio, and I think Angela would vote for a trio member, and the trio member socially will vote for their own trio member. She has made big mistake after big mistake this week. And I just, and even yesterday, she's out there outing everything Angela said before the veto nominations, as if, like, cool, even if you did want Chemo out this week, which, again, we already heard T-Core tell Rubina, if they really saved Chemo to vote him out the next week, they're stupid, because they're not going to get our jury votes then. Well, guess what? You basically made it so you had to use the veto on Angela, because you just gave Leah and Quinn all the reason in the world to vote out Angela against Chemo. You just weren't smart. Weren't smart at all. And I just see her gameplay really falling down hard. Now, like I said, socially, she is one of the better social players in the house. The issue is as comp gets more physical, she has a chance of losing some POVs. And 2, the people that are in the house still have, and could be endgame threats for her, with the trio still intact, have a much better social game than she does, and it just kills her in a jury vote. Kills her, and I don't think she realizes that, and that's why Chelsea's at number 4. Number 3 is MJ. MJ isn't the smartest player in the world. MJ is not even somebody who I think would be a great winner. What MJ has is the fact that she might be able to win comps in the end game. If Cam takes her, if she takes Cam, if towards the end they realize, hey, if we take Chelsea, we just lose, MJ is going to win the game between Cam and MJ, in my opinion. She's done a good social job with Rubina and T-Core, and even Angela, to make them on her side. She doesn't have good reads in the house, but at the end of the day, we're getting to the part of the game where that might not matter. Quinn goes this week. The only 2 people who are really going to be favored to win any physical type comp, whether it be veto or HOH, is going to be Mackenzie and Cam. And unless Mackenzie and Cam decide to take each other out, I think she has a great shot at getting to the end against Cam and winning. I think she has a better chance at getting against Cam and winning than Chelsea getting to the end against, MJ or Cam and beating those 2. And she at least sees the trio as a little bit of a threat. But I do think taking Quinn out is a good move for her. I know there's a lot of people out there saying, no, it's stupid. Quinn wouldn't ever put MJ up. But here's the problem with Big Brother when you get down this late. Quinn is athletic and fast enough as veto comps become more of these fast athletic type comps that if he wins 2 or 3 vetoes, you know who's going to be the 2 or 3 people on the block? MJ, Cam, Chelsea, T-Core, Rubina. Like, there's a lot of people, if Quinn goes on and wins an HOH, wins the 2 or 3 POVs as well, Next thing you know, he's in Final Four, Final Three, and he could just make it to the end. It's not that far-fetched. We're getting very close to the point where you can't backdoor anybody. Yes, Quinn threw Otev this week. Don't get me started on the fact that they all but MJ got the first question wrong. And Otev, my God, this house is beyond stupid. But Quinn can win POVs. And what good is somebody if, sure, he won't put you up, but if he wins a POV and takes himself off the block, if you're the next person to go up, he's as good as somebody who's going to put you up in my eyes. So that's why I'm pro Quinn leaving for MJ right now. He's a shield, but he's a shield that can very easily turn into a sword against you. Number 2 is Rabina. Rabina, like T-Core, who, spoiler alert, is going to be my number 1. Rabina is somebody who has a pretty solid social game, is pretty well insulated. She survived the block, winning AI Arena last week. She was going to survive the block either way last week, I'm pretty sure we can say. And overall, Rabina is just very secure in this house. She, of anybody in the trio, has the best chance at winning some comps, in my opinion, as they get a little bit more fast and more athletic. And she seems to have a really good relationship with some people in the house. I think if she makes Final 2 against anybody but T-Core, she's going to win this game. And given that all 3 of the trio are likely going to be in the house this next week and could be here moving forward, it might be tough to get Rabina out in enough time before it's like a T-Core Rabina and somebody else Final 3, and who knows what happens at that point. Again, this is more to do with the fact that the trio is still intact, and I think Rabina's social game would push her over even the likes of Chelsea in the Final 2 seat. But that's kind of where I'm standing overall, why Rabina's number 2 is. I think she has a great shot at making it to the end, and as long as it's not against T-Core, she's going to win this game. But number 1, power ranked wise, is T-Core. Is T-Core playing a great game? No. Does T-Core have the social magnitude in this game to just make it to the end and win because Cam and Chelsea want to keep protecting her and they don't see her as a endgame threat? Kind of, yeah. And the longer that T-Core stays in this game, she has a chance to get sniped later on, but there's a lot of people who say they want to go to Final 3 with T-Core. And all it takes is her potentially winning one of those comps and come out and winning the Final 2 HOH and she's there, or somebody deciding, it would be too great if 2 women are at the end of the game. Or, people feel like, oh, T-Core deserves to be there, or I love T-Core that much. And she has this game in the bag. Chemo would take her, Rabina would take her. Hell, Chelsea might even take her. I don't know. She's just very well insulated. Her biggest issue is comps, so she definitely could get sniped as we get down to this Final 6, Final 5. But if the 3 of them are in there, who knows what'll happen. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on the Big Brother 26 jury phase so far. Quinn is cooked. Leah is in a game-losing position. And Chelsea, I think, made a game-losing decision last week. I know some people out there like Taryn, who I respect from Rob, has a podcast called A Game-Winning Move, but Joseph would have been an ally and a voice for her in the jury. Now she has to worry about going against any of the trio members, and instead of having Joseph's vote for her, she now has a trio member voting against her. That's a 2-vote swing in a jury of 7. That's a big deal, and that's the type of mistake that makes you lose Big Brother. And it's why, for me, Chelsea fell hard this week, and it's why I think this season is just a perfect example of nobody is good at this game. And yeah. He didn't even get around with an Otev.